So can I share a little bit of my music journey with you? Thank you. So a few years ago, I grew this really great, loyal fan base in San Diego. And I was getting radio play not only in California, but around the U.S. and in 12 countries worldwide. And as Bill mentioned earlier, I won LA Music Awards Singer-Songwriter of the Year. And so there was so much momentum around my music and my dream happening right before my eyes. And I was having sold-out shows and getting to inspire audiences in ways that I always envisioned. And then something happened. Over time, less and less people started coming to my gigs. And I was getting so discouraged because I was my own manager. I was my own agent. I was my own publicist. And I was the artist too. And I got so frustrated, I didn't know what to do. So what did I end up doing?
Fired your manager.
I went to a seminar. I'm like, I'm going to find the answers at the seminar. So I go there, and I'm just like waiting for the breakthrough to happen. And it didn't quite happen at the seminar, but then it happened on the drive home. So I was driving home, and I was like, this is it. I've been focusing too much on the quantity of gigs, not the quality of gigs. So I came back to San Diego, and I said, instead of doing all of these gigs and these concerts and working so hard, what I'm going to do instead is have one really big comeback concert. And so I took action, and I got booked at my dream venue in San Diego that holds over 500 people. And I had 6 months to promote this comeback concert. And I committed to promoting it every single day for 6 months, and that's exactly what I did. Weekdays, weeknights, Saturdays, Sundays, never missed a day. And we went out to the streets of downtown San Diego and passed out 10,000 flyers. Now, I don't know if you've ever passed out 10,000 flyers, but it takes a really long time. So we ended up wrapping it up at about 3 or 4 in the morning. Now let's fast forward to the night of the big comeback concert. I remember sitting in the green room and meditating and just visualizing how I wanted this concert to go. And I saw myself walking out on stage, seeing a sold-out crowd, and giving the performance of a lifetime. And as I was visualizing that, I heard a knock on the door. And they said, Tiamo, they're ready for you. And so now I'm backstage, getting ready to go on. And my heart is just pounding out of my chest because I'm so excited. And I walked out on stage. I stood in front of the microphone. I looked out into the audience. And there were 2 people in the audience. And my heart completely sank. But I held back the tears. And I sang for those 2 people and gave them the concert of a lifetime. And at the end of my hour-long set, I walked off stage, packed up my guitar, got in my car, drove away, and as I was driving away, the floodgates opened, and tears were not trickling down my face. They were streaming down my face. So much so that I had to pull over, and I called my best friend, my mom. And I told my mom what had happened. And then I said, Mom, I can't do this anymore. I quit. And the worst part about it is I felt justified because the universe just sent me a sign that I'm not supposed to be doing this. And she said, Tiamo, one day you're going to look back on this and you're going to understand why it happened the way it did, and you're going to be so grateful. And then I said, Mom, I am not in the mood for spiritual lessons. Like, not right now. I just need to be heard. No spiritual lessons right now. So I gave up on my music for months and months. And then what did I do? I went to another seminar. So I'm at this seminar, and there's about 2,000 people in the audience. And then I had my breakthrough. Because I was sitting there, and I looked around, and I realized there was no live music at this event. And I also realized if I could get up on that stage, I'd be in front of an instant sold-out crowd of 2,000 people. That's what I'm talking about. So I found the event coordinator, and an hour later, guess where I was? I was on stage in front of 2,000 people. And I didn't have to do a thing to get them there. So I'm on stage, and I realize, oh my God, I found my niche. I could perform at seminars, conferences, and I could do keynote concerts where I combine my speaking, my stories, and my music, everything I always wanted to do. It's like it found me. Who wants that? Yeah. So then I started doing keynote concerts, and I was getting booked everywhere. And then I was making more money doing that than I was at my day job. Oh. So then I was at the edge of a really big decision, which was, I think it's time to leave my job. Yay. But here's the thing. Even though I was making more money doing that than at my day job, I was frozen in fear. And then I learned something about fear. Fear is the only thing in the world that gets smaller as you run toward it. So I faced my fear. I took the leap. I left my job. And the first month after leaving my job, I made almost $20,000 as an independent, unsigned artist. I got booked for my biggest gig in front of 15,000 people. And then a few weeks later, the university where I left my job actually hired me back, but this time as their keynote speaker. And so I made more money in 1 hour doing a keynote concert than I made the entire last month at that job. So the big picture here, when I look at the entire journey, is that the thing that scares you the most is the thing you're most meant to be doing. So the day I left my job was my freedom day. And I wrote a song that day called Freedom Day. You ready to hear it? Okay. So as I sing this song, I want you to think about what your freedom day is.